is Stefanie Maegan. You're listening to Broke Girl Therapy. Because therapy is too expensive. You're listening to Broke Girl Therapy. Broke Girl Therapy.
Because I don't think my type of humor is funny.
I think your type of humor is so funny. I think you're like one of the funniest people I know.
Oh, thank you. I heard that a lot from people.
Yeah.
And then I think, you don't hang out with enough people. Because, like, I'm funny, but, like, I'm not, like...
Never fry.
Oh, my God, help yourself. We're mukbanging.
Maybe my friends aren't that funny then.
No, I mean, that's also... I'm partly joking, but also, like...
No, my friends are funny. HK.
HK is hilarious. Jess is a secret assassin.
Right, because you wouldn't think she'd be funny. And then you talk to her and you're like, whoa, this bitch is, like, so quick
because
and clever.
She's also, like... And I mean this in a good way because I love it. She's mean. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, no.
Right. She'll
do better. And you're like, I will.
Yeah. Right. But it's like in a, yeah, she's just straight up. But she's just very witty, too. Like, she's pretty clever.
She's very clever. She keeps up. Mm-hmm. She can keep up.
For me, I'll just, like, if I can't, I'll just say something stupid. And that's my joke.
Yeah. Which is,
it's my charm.
It's your. Who's the loud one? It's my charm. I'm charming.
I'm charming.
I'm charming. My mom says I'm special.
My mom doesn't say I'm special.
Oh my God. My mom says you're special.
I love you. I say this every single time.
She's the greatest.
On the pod that I have to confess my love for K. Dot.
She loves you. My mom loves you. My mom's like, I'm listening.
Your mom, like, I understand why you are the way that you are.
Because of my mom.
Yeah. Like, when I talk to your mom, I feel like I'm talking to you.
But like wiser.
Right. Well, not as loud.
My mom goes, yeah.
Yeah. Like, she's very, like, she's very, like, calm version of you. I feel like, though, like, you'll be like her, but louder when you're older. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll definitely be, you know, like we said in last episode, that loud, funny-ass neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
That has all the wise things. You know what I mean?
And I know where all the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
I'm that neighbor from Gone Girl. Where I'm like,
oh, yeah.
She hated this marriage. You know, I'm that girl. One of my favorite moments in that movie.
I just watched that movie. I mean, I've watched it before, but I rewatched it again recently.
It's kind of a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie. David Fincher. He's a great director.
Director.
He's the director. He's just weird.
So good. It's just so good.
And it's like, let's be honest, we see Ben Affleck in everyday life as that man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, we are not rooting for him. And then we're like, and then the moment where she's like, you're not going to turn your back on America and your baby. And you're like, oh, you deserve her.
Right.
They deserve each other.
They deserve each other. They're both fucked up. No, like, they're both equally the villain.
Oh my God, I know. I feel so bad for Neil Patrick Harris. Way to go, a gay man who can play straight man.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Very good job.
Very, very fluid in that way. I love that you're already diving into this. So this, you guys, let's just do the intro. Hi, guys.
That's a new record.
Oh, that is. It's like
intro within 3 minutes.
There we go. Woo. Hi, guys. It's me, Stefanie Maegan, your host of Broke Girl Therapy. And guess what?
What?
We got Roseanne McAleese in the building.
God, you said my full government name. You said Roseanne. A lot of people don't know that's my real name.
Really? I always call you Roseanne. Maybe not on the show, but every time I talk to you, I call you Roseanne. Because your name on my phone is Roseanne.
You, Lauren Boone, my dad, and my sister. Only people.
Really?
Yeah.
I love calling you Roseanne.
It's all right. It's fine. I answer. It annoys me usually when people who don't know me call me Roseanne. I'm like, oh, really? You don't know me.
Oh, does it ever annoy you when I call you Roseanne?
No, because you know me.
Okay. That's true. I do know you.
But motherfuckers who don't know me, I'm like, ooh, you didn't earn that.
Right. Like, where the fuck? Yeah.
Who do you know here, bro? At this Shake Shack. I don't know you. Yeah, no, that stuff, that irritates me. Or Rosie.
Oh, you do not, like, spark me as a Rosie.
People who've known me for, like, since I was a kid, or like who are my sister's friends that are also my friends, they call me Rosie, and that's fine because I'm Claire's little sister. I'm Rosie.
Right. Yeah, you're the little
But if
sister.
you're a new person and you're like Rosie, I'm like, oh, I will.
The fuck up.
There was one time I had a friend call me Rosie at work, and I turned around and I was like, my name is not fucking Rosie. And then my boss was like, whoa, you didn't need to snap on her. And I was like,
that's how I feel when someone calls me Steffi. I'm like, ew. My mom one time, when she like forced me to go to church with her, she forced me to go to church, and then she was introducing me to her like church friends as Steffi. And I was so annoyed because I'm like almost 30 at this time. Like,
did she want you to be mad? Was
I
she?
don't
Do you think she
understand.
did it on purpose?
I think she was just trying to be like, oh, this is my daughter, like, you know, like trying to be all cute. But it's like, I'm a grown ass woman. You can't just be like, this is Steffi. Like, I'm not a 5-year-old. Like, it'd be different if I was like 5, but I was like damn near 30. Like, and then the person's like, oh, who? I was like, Stephanie. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephanie.
Stephanie, not
no.
Steffi.
That's a big one. I've had my dad introduce, like, he'd be like, oh, this is my daughter Roseanne, and someone goes Roseanne, and he goes Rose. But it's like funny because it's like you introduced me as Roseanne, sir. And then he turns around, and he's like, oh,
is that your like real
name?
name, Roseanne? Like, like legally?
Legally,
Okay.
Roseanne McAleese.
Okay.
That's my name. I have 8 E's in my full name, Roseanne.
Did you ever like that show, Roseanne?
Nope. My mom actually, fun little story, K-Dot story, when she gave birth to me, because she was in labor for a while, but the full like actual baby labor was only 10 minutes. I was 10 pounds. But my sister was a preemie. So my mom literally sneezed and like Claire came out, right? But like with me, my mom like pushed twice and was like, where's the baby? And they were like, ooh, this baby's generous. So my mom was like, I put my heels in the stirrups and I pushed real hard. I felt a rip and you came out. I didn't cry. I was hideous. My dad was like, you were so ugly. Skin marks and all. I looked like I was I was terrible. I was so ugly. I didn't cry. When they, you know how like they spanked the butt? Still didn't cry. I opened one eye and I was like, what's happening? Because my mom just like pushed me out. I was like trying to take my time. And she was like, nope. Which says of my existence within life. So they gave birth to me. My mom's like kind of drugged out, you know, because she just had a baby. And then the Roseanne bar TV show Halloween special had just come on,
and my mom Halloween
because I was born on Halloween, and it had come on the 1989 episode, and my mom was like, I have to change her name, like my daughter can't be Roseanne, but then she fell asleep. So then it was just like, she woke up and she was like, what's my baby's name? And they were like, Roseanne. She was like, oh, I think it's a beautiful name. My mom was like, I still love the name.
She just chose it because the show was on, but then was drugged out.
No. She already had the name.
Oh,
she already had the name. My mom has always loved the name. Well, she's always loved the name Rose.
Okay.
And there was already a bunch of like Rosemarys and like Roseanne, like Rosies and other people. And she was like, well, Roseanne is just a beautiful name. It's also like very Irish.
Right.
So it's like a nod to my dad. And
yeah.
She just loved the name, and she was like, great. But it was the whole idea that, you know, she names me, and then the Roseanne show comes on, and then she's like, oh, fuck, was this a bad decision? Like, oh, no.
But no, it's a great decision.
And then was like, should I make her middle name her first name? Like, I don't know. And then was like, I'm going to sleep. And then like went to sleep. I think like woke up. My dad had like matzo ball soup for her, and she was like, tight. You know,
oh
I got
my God, how cute.
Babies. And at that point, my sister was like, I'm the mom. And my mom was like, okay. Because that was the funny, my sister literally was like, there's a great photo of my sister like elbowing the nurses out of the way to be like, let me wash the kid. Like my sister had done this before or something.
What?
And so she like gets up and she's like,
oh, she just wanted to be a big sister.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm washing the baby. And she literally has been that way my entire life since then.
Does she like act like such a big sister to you?
No,
like,
not anymore. I'm the big sister now.
Oh, okay.
I'm the captain now. Well, Claire's just in it like.
You do have like, as I get to know you, you do have like younger sister vibes. Like I feel like
I don't want to share.
No, you share.
I'm just kidding. You can.
No, you just I feel like every like baby of the family is like a clown.
Oh yeah, we have to, because we watch the family fight and we're like, don't fight. Watch me tap
Literally,
dance.
that's what my brother said. Like me and my brother did an episode, and which probably is out by I'm stacking a bunch, so I don't know the order, but it was probably out by the time you guys hear this. And he mentioned like, you know, he's a people pleaser because there was always so much tension in our family that him being like the cute baby younger one, like he always kind of had to like put on a show for people to kind of ease the tension.
And also, my parents encouraged it. They thought it was. My mom always
we all
said
encouraged it. It was the cutest shit, you know.
My mom always said it. She was like, don't encourage her, just because my mom was like, had to be the mom. So there was like many times where I was like saying funny shit and saying things and acting out. And my mom was like, as much as I want to like laugh with you, like, oh wait, I'm the parent. Like, no, Rose, don't take your shirt off in public.
Yeah,
you know?
There was that one story your mom was telling me how you got in trouble for something. And then.
Oh, I was. I remember this. Okay, she doesn't remember the reason, but I remember it was because I ate an entire carton of like Dreyer's ice cream. And remember, those were like big ass cartons.
Oh my God.
And she was like, oh, I'm so mad at you. I could just, and I was like in my diaper walking up the stairs and I just like turned around and I go, why don't you just smake my butt and get over it? And she was like, I wanted to laugh so badly, but I remembered I was the mom and I was like, no, go to your room. And then there was another time.
Why don't you just hit me and get over it?
Yeah, I was like, just spank me and get over it. And she was like, no, Junie, don't eat that. And then the other time was my mom, I was like, she was, I was in the bath and she was like washing me and I got soap in my eyes and I was like, I can't see. And she was like, you're being dramatic. You're not blind. And I was like, I'm blind. And she was like, fine. She like held up her fingers. She was like, how many fingers am I holding up? And I was like, 2. And she was like, Roseanne, you're lying. And I was like, I can't help but be funny. And she was like, again, where the fuck did you get these one-liners? Why did you think you were being hilarious? And
so funny. And then this is who we are now.
I know. My therapist tells me that all the time. She's like, no wonder you ended up in entertainment. And I was like, oh, fuck.
It was just sometimes you just like are who you are. Like there's just you just are.
I just came out of the womb just trying to crack jokes and being loud and just being like,
Right.
I feel bad.
It's fine.
If I have a kid, I really hope hope it's not me.
I feel like they're gonna be a lot. Like how can anyone have you as a mother and not be like you?
You know what it could be though? I could have the recluse child. Like I could have like a child that's just like that's mom.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true. It's like a hit or miss.
Yeah, I could have the kid that's just like, yeah, that's
my
mom.
loud mom.
That's my loud mom. And the kid's just kind of like, I'll be in the corner. Maybe like we'll read together. That's probably like the one thing
like you'll have like activities you like to do together, but they're just more like an introvert. I'll
be like, don't you want to like say something sassy to me? And they'll be like, no. I'm like, okay. And they're like, mom's sad because I'm not a funny kid.
Right, but I just feel like how if let's say if you're my mom, like
I am your mom.
Being raised by you, like how could you not build your personality is so like
I'm giving that kid so much great material for therapy.
Right.
Like I'm setting that kid up for semi-success, but like maybe some fucked up therapy.
I hope I don't fuck up my kids.
We're going to.
Yeah, we are.
Like keep up.
I just hope I don't fuck them up that bad.
You won't, because like let's be honest, you had one really good parent and one parent that fucked you up, and you're fine.
Right.
For the most part, right? Like you're a good human being. You have a great heart. You're super caring. You love people. You have a successful podcast. Like, you know what I mean? But you could have gone.
I could have gone worse.
Because, we've talked about your family. You could have gone, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like, we know my family and stuff. Like, I had a father who struggled with addiction.
Right.
And then, he was very young when he had kids and he was like trying to figure out his shit. He deals with his own depression. And then I had my mom who literally was like,
an angel.
Is an angel human being. I still got my fucked up issues.
Right.
But like, she did the best she could. And that's what every parent does. And I think what helped me with that mentality is my mom said from a very young age, she goes, no one asked to be born. Like we expect our kids to come out of the wombs to be like, get off your ass and like some more.
I was gonna say, like, are we gonna talk
about Kim K?
Okay, I don't. Did we preface that we're doing a mukbang? If you guys didn't hear, Rose was chewing on Shake Shack burger, and I got Taco Bell because I'm gross. And this is
gross.
I love Taco Bell, but Taco Bell is not a sober decision, and I'm sober. So that's...
No, I think it's okay.
Oh, thank you.
What's a chalupa? What is that?
You never tried a chalupa?
I've never had Taco Bell, ever.
How come we never had Taco Bell? We're not sponsored. What? Like what?
Well, okay. As you know, both my parents are chefs. Both of them are amazing cooks. My sister's an amazing cook. Claire and I...
So you didn't live off of fast food when you were younger?
We begged for it. We would beg for fast food. There was like maybe I can count on one hand my parents taking us to McDonald's because my mom was like, I'm tired of you guys complaining. And like literally my parents would take my sister and I to McDonald's. We would be eating our sad Happy Meals, and my parents would be in like the next table eating like gourmet sushi. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, oh yeah, we'll eat our nice ass meal at fucking McDonald's. And of course, like
that's
every
so nice.
time,
Like when we were younger, we ate.
Oh my God. But every time I went, I just remember being like, I don't like this food. I don't like how it makes me feel. And my mom's like, yeah, exactly. I don't think I've had McDonald's in maybe 7 or 8 years.
That's right. I've never seen you eat fast food.
I don't eat like Shake Shack. I don't really consider fast food because it's like, it's a little better quality.
Then like, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're paying
it's a
for
burger,
a
but it's
ton.
not fast food.
Yeah. Like, you know, I never think of like, but I don't eat like
Taco Bell.
You know, I love me a taco truck. You know, that doesn't really count. Because
Right.
a taco truck is just a dope ass taco truck. Give me a taco for $1.50.
Right.
But I don't eat.
Like a chalupa.
Yeah. So what is it just like a quesadilla?
No, I don't really know. I just like this thick tortilla.
I don't even know. It's not authentic, right?
No. No. It's Taco Bell. Nothing here is authentic.
Oh my God, is that their slogan?
No, but it should be. You just spit all over me.
I'm sorry. Wait a second. It's not even your jacket. There we go.
No. But anyways. This is good. This is real good. I'm hungry.
So this is a fetish.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing. People like this.
People like this shit. People get turned on.
That's cool. Okay. By
I
watching people
I
eat.
do love hearing people eat. I know there's people who hate it.
You love hearing people eat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I learned something I think, I'm sorry if it's not you, but I think it's Alyssa. But Alyssa can't stand the sound of someone eating a pickle.
I just don't like pickles.
Is it because you know what it is? I only eat food that's not real.
Right. No, pickles tickles. Pickles taste like shit.
What? No. If you got a good pickle?
Tastes like shit. I can't stand pickles.
Do you like cucumbers?
No.
Okay, because I was about to be like, ah, that's a pickle is a grumpy cucumber. It's pickled.
Actually, I do like cucumbers.
See, well, no, so you just don't like the salty pickle. Oh, hope yourself some more.
Yeah.
No, hope yourself some more.
Yeah, I don't like the salty pickle vibes. Or like the pickle juice. Ugh. People like be into that shit.
I actually think I think it originated, I'm going to be.
Closer to the mic.
Said no one ever about my ass.
Yeah.
I think it originated in either the South, but I always knew it as like a Portland thing, as picklebacks, which is like a shot of tequila and then you take a shot of pickle juice.
Oh my God, ew.
And that's like a thing. And I remember one time when I was like, lived in University District of Seattle, which is like the frat area, and lived with 8 dudes. That was like the thing. I know.
When did you live with 8 dudes?
So I didn't go to college, but I got an internship out of, what's it called? In Seattle. And my boyfriend at the time, he had just moved in with his best friend, and he was like, well, do you want to kind of, like, I kind of semi-lived with them. There was like a summer where I like lived with them and like didn't leave for like until the school year started up again. But it was a really dope ass house. Actually, we didn't learn until everyone moved out that it was actually Ted Bundy's childhood home.
Oh my God.
And it had his like photos.
Oh yeah, because he's from Seattle.
And it had his name like carved on like one of the stairs or something. And then like the landlord like showed it to the last boys that were like in it. But yeah. So at the time.
Wait, that's fucking crazy.
I know. It was very, and I was like, damn, I wish we had known that. We could have asked for like less rent. But also there was like 3 of us living in one room. So it was like not
right.
like early 20s.
Right.
19, thinking I was so cool. We like one day we like woke up and they were like, we're going to build a skate ramp. And it was like, okay. Like
I could
that
never
type of shit.
do something like that now. But back in the day, you just like think that's the coolest thing ever. Why?
You're like, I have all this wood. Or like, this is how I knew that I was past that phase. You would be driving down the street and you would see something on the side of the road and you're like, I can turn that into something.
Oh my God. We've all done that. Like, oh yeah, let's refurbish that, or like let me make that into a table,
right? Or us was like, okay, let's put the sofa chair on 2 skateboards, and then it would be like a sofa wheelchair, and then like because I didn't skateboard that well,
oh my god,
I was pretty bad at it. They would let me sit in the sofa chair with the 2 skateboards, and I would like try to film, and like that was it. It was pretty cool because originally it was a beach chair.
That sounds like that house smells.
It's
sorry.
No, that house reeked. Mm-hmm. That house was pretty disgusting, actually.
I was gonna say I could see it and I could smell it.
Yeah, that house did smell pretty bad. But the other thing that was really interesting about that house is that I learned that
Closer.
I wasn't. Oh my god,
on the mic.
Closer. Okay, the thing that I learned about living in that house was I wasn't the cleanest person, but I also wasn't the dirtiest person. Like living with 8 dudes puts a lot of shit in perspective because you're kind of like, oh wow, like I really don't care if, like for me personally, I was like, I needed the like kitchen area to be super clean. Like I just like hated the look of dirty dishes, and I would always be like, and I was like basically kind of living with my boyfriend, not really paying rent,
right.
kind of crashing at that place for weeks on end, like not going home.
Right.
And so then they would be this idea that it would be like, well, I don't really get a say, but I just know that I was like, I want the kitchen area to be clean. And then there was someone else in the house that was like, no, the bathroom has to be the cleanest spot. And then you're like learning these things about people. But it was, okay, Junie, we get it. You want to be part of this eat-a-thon?
Right. She does. Fucking shit up. Yeah.
Are you done eating?
I'm done.
Oh, I
also ate. You bought 2 burgers?
I bought 2 burgers. Well, I bought one. I didn't buy 2 burgers. I got a chicken sandwich. I got a chicken sandwich, and then I got a burger.
I feel okay. We've been doing this for 21 minutes, and what the fuck did we talk about?
Oh, we're gonna talk about how we need to get off our asses and work.
Right. So by the time
this is us working, Kim Kardashian.
This is work, and this is fun.
This is super fun. You know,
I could burp now. The girl that called me out on my burping said I could burp. She gave me permission.
What do you mean? There's a girl that called you out for burping.
You were so behind.
Am I really? Oh, yes. I'm so behind.
Someone commented. It was like, please, the burping needs to stop. And so I've been like giving her every episode I bring it up. And to the point she's like, I feel so bad. I'm sorry. And so I'm like, okay.
Bully someone into submission. Like, I'm going to burp now.
Right.
I wish I could burp just to prove a point, but I can't. I'm a lady. I don't burp. I'm kidding. I'm not no fucking lady. I'm eating a burger with double onions, no tomatoes, because I don't like tomatoes on burgers. Love tomatoes, but they always look so sad.
If it falls out, I'm not putting it back in.
What are you talking about?
The tomato.
Oh, I was like, wait a second. This went somewhere really weird, sexual, or dark. I don't know. Well, that's why I love Shake Shack, because you get the little condom.
Right.
It's the little condom that holds it. And then that's my favorite, is that you can go in and I take my fries and I get the leftover stuff.
Oh my God, how cute. I love it. Everyone has a different strategy. We are talking about nothing. Okay. Well, what we were.
This is why Kim Kardashian is like, get on your after asses. Because of people like us eating burgers on a podcast.
Let's just read a fucking email.
Let's do that.
Because we did not talk about dating. I don't even know what we talked about.
Well,
I'm not drunk.
We're on the girl part.
Right.
Broke girl. They're like, girl, we're eating.
Right. We're just chilling. You guys tune in for the fun. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. Why do you guys tune in?
You tune in for the great advice from Quay. You tune in for sex from HK, and you tune in to be like, what the fuck is going to come out of Rose's mouth?
Literally, because I feel like it's always just random.
What is Rose going to say that I have to pull out my AirPods because she's so fucking loud?
I know, and then people are always like, oh, like you're going to record with Rose. What are you guys going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know. I don't plan this, especially with Rose.
Because we get there eventually.
Okay. Should we read something?
I can't be mukbanging by myself.
I already ate it. I can't be mukbanging by myself.
Let's just say this is going to be a great episode for TikTok.
Right.
Okay.
We'll see. You never know what goes viral or TikTok or what doesn't.
Oh, like when you guys started controversy?
Yeah. Did you see that?
First of all, don't brag that you can come in 10 minutes.
Right?
That's weird. That's a weird flex because if it was a woman, because if it was a dude, we would totally shame him for being able to come in 10 seconds. Like that's just weird. People come when they come.
And I don't think they like really understood what she was saying. She wasn't saying like getting turned on or attracted. She was just talking about the biological way of your like vagina and body reacts to being turned on. Like,
it's like the idea of like your muscles relax after like 30 minutes into working out than they do the first 10 minutes. And she said
fully aroused. It's not even like you get aroused in 30 to 40 minutes. You know what I mean? People like just
that's why we like foreplay because it's like, hold on, let me like
you want to do the
get
aroused.
Yeah. Right. I'm getting there. Chill.
Like we don't have a dick where we just have like a boner and it's up and ready.
Yeah, in 10 seconds.
Right.
And you're just like, let me fit this, key into any lock. And it's like, well, let me get my lock lubed first.
Locked. What?
Because a vagina is like a lock. It's like, okay, when someone poorly explained sex to you when you were a kid.
No one did.
Okay, so
I asked my parents, where do kids come from and how do they like get us? And they said they prayed.
Steffi, we prayed for you. Oh my God.
My parents had an English accent. What was that? Steffi, we prayed for you.
Steffi, we prayed for you. I think any parent that sucks is just an English accent. I'm sorry. That was rude, but like that kind of cracked me up. But like, okay, but like when you had that like one fast kid that like knew too much in elementary school or middle school or whatever, who when you were like, what's sex? And they explained it to you, did they ever use like a weird metaphor? Because I've heard 2 conversations happen. The first time I like had like an idea of like sex was this older girl that lived on our block who was like, every boy has a key and every girl has a lock. And like he, his dick is a key and then goes into your lock.
Right.
And he has to turn it.
What?
See, this is badly explained because little kids don't know what's happening.
Right.
It's like,
I never had that.
If you asked me where babies came from, I was like, it came out of your belly button. Like that's what I thought as a kid.
Right.
So she was like, and then the second time.
Oh no.
I heard it was a guy being like, well, I know that I got an SUV and I'm just looking for a parking spot, And I was like, oh my God.
Who raised these kids?
That's what I'm saying, right? So it was like this whole idea that now, I think it's a fun, icebreaker.
Innocent.
Like,
I don't think I had like a childhood thing that like was explained to me. Maybe because I grew up with brothers and I always saw their dick when we were younger.
Yeah, because you're just like, you're naked, you're taking baths, you're just walking around.
Right,
yeah.
so I've seen a tuti.
Is that what they called it?
Well, Tagalog, it's titi, but our family would say tuti. And so they had a tuti, and mine was different from my brother's.
Because yours was in.
Yeah, or just, nothing. It was just.
Was there no name for it?
Beck.
That is the cutest name for a vagina.
It's the Tagalog word, peck.
I just think that looks really, because it makes me think of like pocket.
Right?
Like it's little.
It's a cute name.
It holds things.
Peck.
Tutti and peck.
So I just knew my body part was different, but I didn't think anything of it. Like I just didn't, my mind didn't go to sex, obviously.
Well, no, because it's not until someone ruins it for you.
But then I'm trying to think. I just think that I don't remember the first time I like realized what sex was.
Yeah, I do remember asking my mom, and she just told me. She was like, a man.
Your mom,
yeah.
Your mom would be honest.
She was like, no, that's what happened. She was like, a man has a penis, a woman has a vagina, a man carries a seed, and he plants it in the woman's vagina.
Why is that so taboo to say? It's just like human fucking nature. Like, why are we so weird with that with kids? Like,
I don't know. I think it's because
we don't want things to be overly sexualized for them and try to keep their innocence. But it's just like, it's biology.
But that's the thing. The first thing they jump.
Science.
Yeah, it's science, biology, chemistry, physics.
It's all of that.
It's all of that. But like I think it's this idea that like the first time that it becomes sexualized is because of society. Yeah. And so it's like, my parents would be like, if don't let people touch you down there. Like how they talk about kids.
Teach them consent.
And just being like, there are creepy people in the world that like want to do things to you when you're a child. Don't let that happen,
Right, yeah.
But it's also like, you know what? Maybe this episode's getting political because this idea and notion of right now there's that terrible bill in Florida, the Don't Say Gay bill. And it's basically saying like, do not teach gay, like LGBTQ plus literature or any of that to kindergartners to 4th grade, right? And it's like, okay, that's weird. Like, we shouldn't do that because we're completely fine asking a 5-year-old, do you have a boyfriend?
Right.
Or, oh, he's gonna be a heartbreaker when he grows up. Like, we're okay. He's gonna, have to beat the boys off with a stick. And you're just like, I'm sorry.
Like, you're already kind of sexualizing them in a weird way. Like, at such a young age.
And also putting weird things where it's like, I'm sorry, the phrase that you tell a little girl, you're gonna have to beat those boys off with a stick. It's like, because they're aggressive animals? Like, because they just have to take what's theirs. Like, it's very weird things that we're like, I don't think I need to worry about a gay kid doing anything weirder than let's say a grown adult telling me some weird shit about you're gonna have to beat that man off with a stick.
Right.
It's so weird, but it's this idea that like we over sexualize way too early. And again, I'll get on my soapbox. Shows like Euphoria. Why are you going to have 26-year-old actors play these 16-year-olds and over-sexualize them?
I love Euphoria. I think Euphoria is such a great show. But there is that concern of just like, this show is just overly sexualizing minors. Like, why do they have to be in high school? Why did he have to put them in, like, why couldn't they be of age?
Yes.
I mean, I guess people in high school, maybe go through that, but it's just.
But you don't have to see it.
But the way that he like
has this actress naked and feeling uncomfortable, and there's no reason for her to be naked in Nate's fantasy. It's fucking weird.
Right.
I think the really good show that dealt with like teen sexuality was Skins. Like, I really loved how that, like, you knew they were doing things, but you never saw it. It was always like behind a curtain, or it looked like there was consent involved. It was never like this weird it
just makes Euphoria edgy. That's why you see so many dicks and penises, but it's like, we don't need that.
Like, what cause? It's not needed. It doesn't advance the story at all.
No.
It really just makes, I think, people feel really uncomfortable.
Sexualizing these minors, like these kids, even though they're not actual minors, but their characters
But you're saying it's okay to sexualize 16-year-olds.
Right, exactly.
It's consenting to it. And I'm like, that's
like my
weird.
biggest thing with Euphoria. Otherwise, I know you have your feelings, but I do love that show.
What's it about? I just don't know what it's about.
I think it's about how I take it. Maybe everyone's a little different. I think it's really just about addiction in different ways. Not just, I mean, obviously addiction with drugs is the biggest thing, but also addiction with love, addiction to validation, addiction to sex. Like, I think it's addiction in such a young age in all different different storylines is how I look at it. And I feel like it is,
brilliant.
A lot of it
Well, you're smart. So that's why I'm like, okay, of course you can like get me to see what this show that I'm like, it's, first of all, it's not well written. Like, it's not like, that's my thing about that show is that like Zendaya won for acting.
Right.
Nothing was nominated for the writing of that show. It's because my whole thing about that show is that
I'm not a writer in ways,
and that's where I'm coming from.
I can't talk on that because I can't.
And I'm also someone who doesn't, suffer from an average addiction than most people. Like, my addiction is not to drugs or alcohol, right? Like, I deal with like depression as well as an eating disorder. Like, that's a different type of addiction. So I'm like, I can kind of understand it. But then there's characters like Gia and Lexi that I can kind of see myself in.
Yeah, I could see myself in them too. In a
lot
of ways.
But there's this thing about the show where I think it really does show people that like it's really hard to set expectations so high because that show had so many cool storylines and so many things happening, and then it just failed the ending. It just missed the landing.
Yeah, I was there's just a lot of plot holes. I feel like there's so many things that I'm like, okay, is this going to be addressed in the next season? I don't understand. Like the whole like Lori thing.
Who the fuck was she? Why was she there?
Right. Like is this maybe I'm thinking maybe like the next season it's going to be a whole storyline because
and at this
Rue
point
owes that $10,000.
And all of a sudden she has that weird monologue where she's like, I was sober for the rest of the school year. And you're like,
what? Where did
you get that money from?
Right. That part.
And if season 3 starts with,
I just love Zendaya though.
I mean, I do too. I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
But if season 3 starts with Rue was dead the whole time, then I was like, that's a motherfucking cop out. Because you could have done that in the season 2 and I would have been fine with it. But I don't know. I just think that if you are someone who really wants to get into storytelling and like break down that show, it really is a great case studies of setting expectations high. Look at all these cool ideas that I'm going to address. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then realizing you can't have everything land. So you got to be very strategic on how those things happen.
Yeah, because I think the landing was
super rocky.
Yeah. And also predictable. Like, I did feel like the season finale was very predictable. Like, I think that I was so much more addicted to the shows in the episodes in the beginning versus the end.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I haven't rewatched the season finale, but the first few episodes I rewatched a bunch. So maybe that says something right there.
I think the show could have ended with the episode before the last, where it was Cassie just breathing against the window watching the play.
No, people would have been pissed.
But then it would have at least set me up for a season 3 that I'm like, but you tied up Zendaya's story in the last episode. But that's weird.
Right. I do like that scene though where Rue and Lexi are sitting in the room and Rue kind of like gave a nod to Lexi saying like, okay, which I can't really tell if that was like just a part of the play or not. That's all.
Again, that's another confusing thing. Did that happen before the play or after the play?
But they kind of sat down together and were like, she was like, oh, you know, you've been through a lot and look what you've done with all that pain. And then Rue was like, I don't even know what to do with that pain. And I felt like I really connected with like Lexi because I feel like I felt like Lexi with the play. Mm-hmm. Because Lexi kind of spoke her truth in her way that she, like she's not the most confrontational person. Because if you guys really know me, I'm not really that confrontational at all. Like I'm a people pleaser. But when I'm on here, I'm very expressive. And this is a safe zone for me to express myself. So with Lexi kind of putting up her play and really doing it in a way where it was like, wait, I'm not trying to piss anyone off. I'm just trying to really express these experiences. And for me, like I lost a good amount of my high school friends because I talked about an episode of like me just kind of like growing apart from my old self. And they really kind of took it as like me trying to attack them. So they're not friends with me anymore. But when I saw that scene with Lexi and Rue, I was like, that's what I'm doing. It's not to like start shit with Cassie, to start shit with whoever, you know what I mean? It's like how she started shit with her sister and everyone was pissed. That wasn't her intention. It was her just really trying to have her moment to express her experiences in her art and like using that pain and to heal from whatever was, going on with her. So,
and a lot of it was guessing.
Yeah.
Like she kind of guessed that Nate might be closeted gay.
Right. Which how do you feel about that part of them doing the whole...
I thought it was weird. They didn't need to do that.
Because I get that Nate's an asshole, but I think Nate's right. Like, that's a really fucking homophobic thing to do.
I mean, it was ironic coming from him.
Right.
If anyone else had said it, I'd been like, fuck yeah, but it was Nate, and I'm like, Nate.
Because, like, in actuality, if someone, like, went on a play and was just, like, outing this guy who's, like, clearly struggling with his sexuality to, like, do that, and, like, I just feel like that's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, again, there was just so many things in that show where I was like, did anyone... Because he also doesn't... Sam, the guy who created the show, doesn't have a writer's room, right? It's just him.
It's just him, yeah.
And it shows.
Right.
And let's be honest, like, there are some people, like, I feel like, I had my own issues with it, but I thought Michaela Cole's This May Destroy You, like, she wrote, directed, and starred in all of it. That's brilliant because that's a mini series
a brilliant show too.
But that's a mini series. That's literally her reflection of something that happened to her. So it's like there are times that you don't need a whole writer's room, but like I don't know, Sam. Like you couldn't have like one person being like, "Hey, what happened to the weird woman that films fucking Maddie trying on clothes?
Right.
Where did she go?
What happened with that? Yeah,
I don't know."
And then she could just gives her a present and that's it. Like, is that just the end of that situation?
And then you basically, and let's be honest, Sam kind of fucked over Barbie because that actress came out and was like, yo, this is some problematic shit. And then basically gave her turned her into like a villain in a weird scene where she breaks up.
Like that storyline was a mess. You're right. It was kind of a mess.
Sorry, I'm not trying to convince anyone, but I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's done a really great job on me falling in love with the characters. I think that's what's really great about the show. I mean, you don't.
Well, here's my thing.
What?
Is I think if Rue was played by anyone else, we'd be like, Rue fucking sucks. But since it's Zendaya, we have this
she's
weird
a very
thing.
likable.
She's
You're
being
right.
used. Like her perception of how we see that amazing human being that is Zendaya, what she represents for literally this other generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we had Rihanna and then they have like a Zendaya, not in the acting sense, but like what she represents is like a cool chick that does dope shit that like wears amazing clothing and
very
has like
likable.
super likable, seems, is very, very Oakland, very homegirl. And I think he kind of used that to his advantage to basically be like, Rue sucks.
Right. Honestly, I had a conversation with Nina about this too, because like, we know people in our lives that are addicts. And this might be very touchy to talk about, trigger warning, but it's like, I get what I don't know. It's really weird because you're right, because they do make it more likable in a sense where I don't want to say it doesn't glamorize it. It doesn't, because obviously it shows a lot of really true shit that happens when you struggle with addiction. But I think with the end, I don't know. It's harder than what it looks like, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like, it's harder to like forgive.
As someone who,
do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's like, yeah.
I was Gia. 100%.
Right.
In the family that I grew up, in the childhood I grew up, my sister was not Rue in the sense of like the hardcore drugs, but my sister definitely was a Rue in a degree.
Right.
So yeah, sure.
It's crazy. I'm friends with so many people who are Gias.
See?
And like everyone, and every single one is always kind of has a very complex relationship with their family member that, but it's weird because I feel like maybe this is just, there's still a lot of love with Rue and Gia. There is complexity, but there's still like.
But is there, because her mom had to tell her, like, she's like, Gia's fine. Like, Rue had to lie to herself and be like, she's fine. She's not affected by this. And her mom was like, are you fucking kidding me? She's gone to 3 fights. That's the other thing, is that when you are an addict, you have your blind sides up and you basically mimic in saying things that you think people want to hear, which is, no, I know what's happening. She's doing okay. And it's like, no, you're being selfish. Like, you're in your most selfish state.
Which is completely true. Which is complete. That's what I mean. There was a lot of realness to it. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of Gias in my life, that it just, the relationships look different, I guess.
Absolutely.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And everyone has their own struggles and everyone has their own things. But I'm telling you, I don't know if you had any other actress play
But that's
Rue,
what I'm saying. Like, tying it apart is like, because Zendaya is really likable. Like, I see what you're saying. Because
if it was any other girl,
just random chick
kicking down that door and her mother is screaming, please stop, would we really be like, oh my God, she's so powerful? I think it would probably be like, what the fuck? I did see something, and this is not something I can commentate because I am a white person, but there is this black content creator. Oh my God, her name is... everyone has probably seen her stuff, but she talks about Euphoria, and one of her theories is if Rue had black friends, she would not be acting like that. And I was like,
sheesh.
Oh, well, that's you. And she was like, and she has, if you want, for the life of me, I cannot remember her like handle name. But I think her real life name is Raven, but she makes these commentations on that where she was like, and she's the one where it kind of got me thinking about like, oh yeah, if it was any other actress than Zendaya, but how that kind of like in a weird way gets manipulated through someone like Sam, where it's like this white man is basically trying to tell his story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
but
true.
Through a black woman is weird to me. It's just weird to me. And through a guy who actually got to go to the nice ass fucking thing, he did get a bed. He did get to go to the rehab center and get a bed. You're literally a child of nepotism. Your dad has a fucking Oscar.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know any of this.
His dad is a very famous director. And it's like this weird thing where I'm like, why are you trying to... And I understand, like, you know, I come in the world of creative TV. I mean, I wrote for a show called BMF, right? Like, what do I know what it's like to be a drug dealer in the 80s for young black men? But I can understand the society and norms of, like, how can you tell these stories of these boys were part of a broken system? Like, they weren't terrible human beings. It was just the fucking everything was being held against them. So they took what was terrible and made it gold, literally, right? And I can see that from being someone who's a victim of poverty, struggling, hustling, and just seeing it as like a large and maintained so that anyone can watch that show. But I just think it's weird when you have this dude who's like kind of telling his story through her POV.
Really likable, right. Through
I don't know. I think about it. People probably hate me right now, but like, I don't know. I just think about this. I think it just is interesting, and I'm just waiting for the thought pieces that come out where people are like, "This is terrible."
I do love that show.
You totally can.
But of course, I'm not gonna. No matter what it is. If I love something so much, I'm willing to see the imperfections. And it definitely, that is one thing that is kind of like the sexuality of these teenagers, or something that's kind of like a little questionable, that I've always thought it was weird. And then, the plot holes that were, and you're right with, why is Sam Levinson telling it through Zendaya? And I guess I never really thought of the fact that like Zendaya alone is just such a likable icon in Hollywood. That
you love her. I love her.
Feel the
Give
same
her all
way?
the Emmys.
Right. Like, yeah.
It's just it's just weird to me.
And she's talented, don't get me wrong. Like, she's an amazing actress.
Yeah. I love her.
And she did a great job. That's why I love the show. She
great
really
job.
like killed it. She killed the role. I mean,
but I'm again, and let's talk about how now that Cassie has really become this actress that people are now looking at, being like, whoa, she's a really talented actress.
Right.
She was, had a really hard time getting into the Hollywood because of the way she looked, and then she gets over sexualized and all this other stuff. But she's now coming up, and it's like, great. I'm glad this show is existing for people. First of all, I love how diverse it is, and that these people are coming up.
Well, they need more like Asian people, but it's fine.
Massively.
Or any Asian person.
Any Asian person, actually.
There's no Asians.
None whatsoever. And then you have this idea of like what, it's just like when you boil it down, I'm just kind of like, I just think this is weird that this is the man who brought us this.
Right.
It just, I don't know. I can't help but think as like a writer too.
And yeah, you have to think of who is creating this.
Who's creating this?
You have to go behind the scenes. He doesn't have a writer's room. It's just him. This is all from his experience, because he's, was an addict, and for how much, him like choosing, to sexualize like young people. Like, I wonder why.
I mean, a lot of people have, again, this
why
content creator whose name I can't remember. She has a great theory about like how she thinks this is very Freudian for him. But a large part also is, I can't help, as someone who works in the industry, who writes for TV, who has pitched to these networks, I could not see a Black or person of color pitch the show and get the show made.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure.
I write for a show that has to do with drugs, right? It has to do with the crack epidemic. And that was difficult. And it's a real life story. And it was still hard to get on network, right? And it does have, there is storyline, especially this season, about addiction and the whole idea of what happens, like who are the people that fall suit to this stuff. But like the show that Euphoria has, you don't get to see the content. And I bet there's a show out there that could be from this POV, but it's like, let's just give this kid, this nepotism child.
Right.
This.
I mean, it's beautifully shot.
It's a great perfume ad. It is a really beautiful makeup ad.
Aesthetically.
The coolest
the makeup,
music video.
The fashion.
The coolest music video.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Labyrinth. Great music.
Oh yeah.
Amazing music.
Oh yeah.
I love the songs.
Soundtrack.
The soundtrack. The ones that Sam finds.
You don't know my name. Something like that.
I always love when you sing.
Thank you.
You're okay.
We are like almost an hour in.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Go get it. Let's talk to the people. I didn't need to turn this into like me eating and talking about Euphoria.
We never know where anything's gonna go.
I know. I'm sorry.
We recorded 2 episodes tonight because I was stacking up, and we don't even know what we talked about in the last one. I don't even know what we just talked about in this one.
We talked about addiction, and we talked about Euphoria.
And you know what? Everyone loves Euphoria. Everyone watches Euphoria, and everyone knows Euphoria because you can't escape it on TikTok.
I wouldn't say I love it, but
you love to hate it.
No, I don't even say I hate it. I just think it's one of those things where I'm like, what is this show? I just don't get, I'm just confused by it. Because I think hating
I'm addicted to it. Maybe that's what
okay.
Because it's like talking about addiction, but I'm addicted to it.
Because here's my thing about hating. When you hate something, you have to be passionate about it, which is why there's a thin line between love and hate, because hating means you kind of like are actually like, ooh, there's something about this. Like, I wish. We know I have an arch nemesis who I hate because I wish I just was her.
She's still like.
She's so skinny and pretty. It's just, I hate her.
You're so
but I love her.
But I love it.
But I also am like, I just wish I'm not as cool as her, right? This is what it is.
You're so much. No, Rose, you are so much cooler than her. I'm sorry.
Just saying that.
No, I swear to God, she is. She's not funny. First off,
thank you.
I don't because
someone told me they were like, she's so funny, and I was like,
I really don't think she's funny.
Oh my God. Okay, stop. This is so embarrassing. Like, don't stop. But yes, but like
she just has.
But I also know that's my insecurity because she literally is just like, she's the white girl I wish I was. Like, she's just skinny and pretty and like has. And anyways, it doesn't matter.
We all have those people. No, I don't have that.
Well, it's because you have a healthier life. It's fine.
No. But I used to. Sorry, that was really rude for me to like rub that in your face. I don't have that. I'm popping with myself. Fuck you. No, that was weird. Sorry. But like, that wasn't what I was trying to say.
No, but like the hating aspect is, I wouldn't say that I hate Euphoria.
She is fascinating. Sorry.
Yes, she's fascinating. Euphoria is fascinating. Right. But that's the spectrum. Okay. You have her, and you have her who shall always be Voldemort. So you have Voldemort and you have Euphoria. I wouldn't say I hate Euphoria. It scratches my head to a point where I'm like, wait, I'm really confused. Because also, like you said, everyone loves it. Everyone thinks it's great. And I'm sitting there being like, the Emperor has no clothing. Like, am I the only person that's right. Wait, what?
I mean, honestly, you're right. Because there is, as I'm kind of talking to you and being open to like your point of view, like I definitely see, and for me, like I'm so big on like marketing and what like trends, what works and sticks
what does it look
the
like?
Culture and stuff like that. And I think Euphoria is so on top of like the culture as far as like music, makeup, fashion, and even
it's very smart.
The cast,
it's very smart. Yeah,
extremely even the way that it's shot and the aesthetic of it is just so like hipster and like creative and but as we kind of like pulled, get the skeletons of everything and just really see, especially now seeing the season's over and seeing how everything kind of fell apart. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you're right, because it's stalled. It's stalled. In the beginning, it was just this rush, which is what I guess we all kind of got addicted to. I was addicted to that rush to be like, oh my God, what's going to happen next?
And again, if you're a young storyteller, right, and you want to get in this business, if you want to be a writer, just know that show is an example of being like, don't do the kitchen sink and everything else. Like there was a lot. That's what I have to say, I was rooting for the show at the beginning. Right. I loved the first 4 episodes.
So good.
I was very impressed by it. I even loved
the Zendaya episode when she would root like that. That was incredible.
I was like, okay, well, I mean, my only issue with that was like, so she's running for 45 minutes. Where's the story?
To me, I took it as like it was a really kind of summarized version of showing how everything really falls apart with addiction.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Like, because she's going from one tragedy to another.
Fair.
So, and all of that is real, where you lose friends and, you start drama, you're fighting with your family, you're getting in with the wrong people, and all these, like, I felt like that was a really good for me, like, representation to put all of that in 45 minutes.
Which is great, because the whole thing, though, that, again, with my problem with the season is that you started off the season with Fez's backstory, right? Mm-hmm. And you're telling us the show isn't just about Zendaya, it's about a bunch of people. Then why was Zendaya the only one that got closure? Then you made it a show about Zendaya again. So I was like, so that's the whole thing, is if you're a young storyteller and everything, looking at that show and realizing that show, although it like definitely did some really cool things and everything, it broke all the rules of just structure, of things that just are timeless, that just like work in storytelling.
You're right.
That you're kind of like, and I think
it was good on like the hype. And social media and everything.
Yeah, and as someone who teaches screenwriting, it also worries me sometimes, because people are like, well, they did it in Euphoria, and I'm like, doesn't mean it was successful though. Doesn't mean that it was still something you should break. You're also not Sam, so again, your script is not going to be able to go.
I guess everyone's definition of success is different. There's probably people who are like, I want this shit to be the most mainstream shit ever.
Hell yeah,
like Euphoria. But you want something that's really more in depth and structured. That's a different.
But that's not even trying to. Structure is not mainstream. What I'm saying is, you're telling a story, and you told us this story is about Feds. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna be carrying on with Feds the entire story. Spoiler alert.
Right.
You kill his brother out of nowhere, kind of.
It was supposed to be Fez, but the day before they shot it, they changed it.
So again, you're
Fez
right.
was about to die, but the day before he was like, actually, we'll kill, which is kind of weird, because it's like the kid probably just found out he lost his job.
So then there you go. So then that's also weird. Then it's like, okay, so again, you're you're just making these choices.
Right.
It's literally, it's fucking.
It's like impulsive.
It's D&D. You're rolling the dice and telling me what mage is going to hurt me and what thing. You're just making it up. Like, I understand that. But to me, it's just like, that's not even, like, structure and storytelling is not mainstream. That's just storytelling.
Storytelling, yeah.
Because you could be a Christopher Nolan and do a Memento where that entire movie is backwards. That's fucking brilliant. Because here's the world. These are the rules to the world. Oh, as a storyteller, these are my rules. Okay, great. I believe in those rules and everything. But then when you start making up rules and being like, wait, just kidding. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we end this tangent. Atlanta.
I've never seen that show.
Atlanta is a weird fucking show that breaks a lot of rules, does a lot of weird bending.
I was going to say because like, okay.
But is brilliant because it lands. Because what happens is that people are like, this is a show about nothing, and it's not.
Euphoria didn't land.
See, and that's the thing about especially season 2 of Atlanta. You're kind of like, you meet this like literally metaphor of a golden gun, right? Yeah. And you don't realize, you're like, this is a weird episode. And then it's not until like literally the last episode do you see the golden gun, and then you realize, oh, this has been haunting this entire season. Right. And that show definitely has a lot of fun and everything, but it still holds to the rules of its world. And I believe it. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm going to roll with it. And then they constantly land and they constantly do weird shit. And it's aesthetically pleasing. It's fucking dope music. It's amazing content. It's hilarious. It's funny. Seinfeld was a show about nothing, but they still land the joke. They set it up in the beginning of the first 3 seconds of Kramer sliding into the door, and then they land it the second Kramer slides out of the door. Like, there are ways to go about it and have some fun. But like Sam was like, here are the rules, and then here's some more rules, and then wait, just forget that rule. And I'm like, am I dumb? Do I just not get it? You know?
Right. No, I agree. But yeah, because it definitely like was so much more high in the beginning, and it just, you're right, it didn't land. Like I felt it like it was predictable.
I think this episode's gonna bite me in my ass because I think someone in my agent's gonna hear this and be like, Rose, you're never gonna work with Sam.
Do you want me to like delete it?
No, it's fine. I mean, I feel like, let's be honest. Look, then I'll never work with him. Like, it sucks, but like, it's also like, I think he's very talented. Yeah. The man is very talented. Right. I just don't know what was happening with this.
Right.
Or
he might like it because he'd be like, oh, you're a hater. He doesn't even have a writer's room, so he's not even hiring anyone.
Yeah, exactly. He's not hiring me. So he ain't hiring. But I mean, again, if it was any other, I mean, you know me, I hated Girls. I didn't understand.
I hate that show.
See, I hated that show. Didn't understand that show. That show was apparently for me.
I just can't stand Lita Dunham.
Yeah, we talked about this. Fuck her.
Was
her and Candace Owens.
Or last one?
It was the last one.
Okay.
But yes, like the whole idea and notion of like, I think the reason why I said that is because the one thing I hate sometimes about my industry is that people are terrified to say they don't like things because they're worried, what if that person hires me? And I'm like, but I don't want to work for someone if fake.
Right. You want to be honest because
it's not that because the other thing is it's not malicious. It's not saying like I hate Sam because again I think Sam is a very talented. He's very talented. But he knows what he's doing. He's very smart with his makeup. He makes a gorgeous package. To me, I'm just kind of like.
But there's things that need to be fit. Yeah.
I'm just confused. I don't even hate it. I'm just like, again, Emperor's wearing no clothing. Is no one else wearing? Okay, it's just me. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll keep my thoughts to myself. Right. But again, that's my annoying thing about my industry is that everyone's like, you can't say you hate shit. And I'm like, really?
But I
think you should.
I think you should. I think it's like more respected if you're being honest, in my opinion.
Junie agrees.
We should read emails finally an hour in.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Was that the episode though? Should we just like...
Let's just read an email.
Okay, let's read an email. No, I'm sorry. I want to keep going.
I want to keep going too.
Our listener wants to keep going. Just kidding. Pause, take a shower break, and come back.
Take a shower break.
Welcome back.
All right,
let's read an email.
Well, welcome back. Maybe park your car, get your groceries real quick.
Your groceries.
Welcome back.
Did you get your garlic dip from Trader Joe's?
No.
Did you forget them? Did you get your eggs? The paprika?
There you go.
Okay. Make a list.
This.
What?
I don't know. Okay, this one says cheetah.
I think your
Cheater.
ADD is contagious. I'm like, wait, what?
I know. I felt like you got like spacey for a second. But I got
I'm on a
spacey.
sugar rush.
I think you're on a sugar rush too. I see it in your eyes.
Can
You're
you
like
really?
drunk.
You
You get like this when you're like you like lift your eyelids.
Don't tell the listeners, but this is a double milkshake.
A double
Meaning
milkshake.
So it's a black and white and cookies and cream.
I love that for you.
Thank
I
you.
love a black and white.
Isn't it good? But with cookies and cream though.
Damn. Okay, this one says
Damn,
cheater.
Cheater.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Actually, we've read longer than this.
That's true. That's a thickie.
That's a thickie.
Okay.
She is schmedium though. I think that this is schmeedy.
Do you need a Post-it so you can line read?
Right, I do.
Here. From your production closet. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. This is smart. My eyes are just like, okay.
Girl, I was doing the same thing. You saw me. I had to highlight the words. Okay.
Right. Y'all, let me just preface this by saying I come from a very small town where everyone knows everyone. ...
Staying anonymous. Got it.
This is an insane story about a guy I was quote unquote involved with the summer after my senior year of high school. So this is Euphoria. Sorry.
Fuck. They hate me.
Right.
The youths hate me. The children hate me. I'm sorry. I'm just your cranky old lady that knows everything about your neighborhood.
Yes.
With my black and
she
white.
goes, after my senior year of high school, ... I was a virgin. Desperate for a man to have fun with. And still had never been kissed. I always knew of this really cute guy who was dating a girl. Oh my God, she's Cassie. We're just jumping to conclusions. I always knew this really cute guy who was dating a girl I went to high school with. He was exactly my type. ... But definitely taken. I loved the ...
I know, me too.
That summer, he had messaged my best friend who was in a relationship at that time and told her he was single. My best friend told him she was in a relationship and to hit me up instead. ...
So the best friend passed him on.
Right.
Okay.
And he did. We started messaging every day, and it wasn't long before he asked me to hang out with him. It was super awkward because the only time we would hang out was at night, and the first time we
Sorry. I know that. I know that technique.
And the first time we hung out, his friend was actually spending the night at his house. Okay.
Oh, high school.
Fucking high school.
Have you ever had sex with someone else in the room?
No.
Oh, yeah, me either. I mean, he was asleep, but like, you know, you're just like.
Right. But like in the next room, no.
Oh, yeah, that counts. Well, no.
No.
That's this situation.
On the mic.
Oh, that's this situation. You
Right,
can't be in like
right.
the next room. Anyway, sorry.
We grown. Anyways, his apartment was about 3 minutes away from where I was working at the time. So every time I went to his house, I would always lie to my parents high school about where I was, saying I was working late, etc. This lasted for a couple of months, and it got to the point where I wanted a relationship. Okay. He was always super hesitant about things like that, but I never understood why. Well, one night, the girl I went to high school with, his ex-girlfriend, messaged me on Snapchat saying, "Hey girl, it's been so long. We should hang out sometime." Oh, the bitch knew. The bitch knew.
She knew.
Yeah, the bitch knew.
People still use Snapchat? I feel
high
old.
School,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
High schoolers and like hoes use like Snapchat. Sorry. I don't mean hoe in a negative way, but like, you know what I mean? You do hoe things on Snapchat.
I mean, yeah. Yeah,
you know
I do.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one, I don't.
Disappearing nudes? Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
When I would meet a guy at the club and he'd be like, "Oh, what's your Snapchat?" I'm like, "I don't trust you."
Oh, oh my God. Yeah.
Red flag. One, you're younger than me. Or two, you're probably married and you can't have.
Or three, you have an Android and not an iPhone. Like, let's be honest.
So many red flags. I'm just not. No. Everything just leads to no.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God, I bought red flags. We should have waived it.
Oh, we should play that next time. It's red flag, green flag game. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. She said, "Hey girl, it's been so long. We should hang out sometime." I immediately showed him the message and he legit started freaking out because my location was on for Snapchat and he told me to turn it off. I thought nothing of it. Eventually, we fizzled off, and shortly after, what a shady little bitch. The ex-girlfriend. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyways, And shortly after, I was at a house party when the same friend who slept over at his house came up to me and said, yeah, his ex-girlfriend hates you.
Wait, the one that passed him on?
No, that's the friend. The ex-girlfriend's the one that hit her up. So I'm seeing her Snapchat location. Okay. I was shocked and so confused about why she would hate me when she had messaged me not long ago saying she wanted to hang out because you're dating her man.
Fake bitches are smart that way.
Yeah, like keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. He proceeded to tell me that they had been dating the entire time we were hanging out and doing stuff.
That's why she hates you.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you're the other woman.
Yes, I felt horrible.
Oh, poor baby girl.
I know. It's not your fault. It's his fault.
It's not your fault. It's his fault.
As time went on and I went away to college, he would constantly message me saying things like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me or she cheated on me, things like that. And asked me multiple times to come and stay at the dorm. And she put, no thanks.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. I also knew his boss and
those were little dots coming
out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it smells. It's like Taco Bell.
I can't smell anything because I have allergies. So.
Oh my God.
Nope, nothing.
I could hear it. I always knew his boss and boss's daughter, and every time I would visit them, he would be there as soon as I would leave, and he would text me things like, we could have fucked in the bathroom or come back. Wait, what? I'm confused. I also knew his boss and boss's daughter, and every time I would visit them, he would be there, and as soon as, okay.
So it would be like he would.
What does the boss and the boss's daughter have to do with anything?
I think it's the fact that she would go visit like the
them
boss.
At work.
Yeah, them at work.
And then he'd be like, I wish I could fuck you in the bathroom.
High school things.
Right.
Can I hang out with you at your job?
Oh
you know,
my God,
kind of vibes.
So I forgot that people did that.
Remember?
Yes.
My friend worked at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I would just go hang out with Bed Bath & Beyond until she would get off of work.
Yeah, I used to work at like every store in the mall, and I have my friends like, oh my God, like come visit me at work.
Come hang out, PacSun. I'm not doing anything. And it's like, you're working.
That is such a suburban kid thing to do.
Oh my God. I worked at a bar, and I would tell my friends like, yeah, I won't ID you. Like, come to the bar.
Oh my God, I wish we were friends.
Oh yeah, I would have gotten you wasted.
I would have loved it.
Sorry, Grandma.
This dude was so relentless, and I actually ended up finding out later on that he cheated on that girlfriend so many times and would go on Tinder to hook up with girls over state when he was traveling for work.
Ew.
His ex-girlfriend still hates me, and he eventually cheated on her so many times that they too have no broken up, and he is now dating a middle-aged woman with 3 kids who also cheat on her husband with him.
Oh,
always
stepdaddy,
right? Okay. Always something exciting in my small town.
Oh, this was just story time.
And
I like a story time.
Oh,
hey, Scorpio.
Yeah, this was a story time.
Here's the thing about the ex-girlfriend that still hates you. She's just going to. Like, it doesn't matter that
because he's probably gaslighting her and making her like changing the story she's making
you seem like, oh, like she was stalking me, she was obsessed with me, she would just come over, she came to hang out with the guy who was on the couch, like they were fucking.
Yeah.
So sadly, she's a
victim.
She's a victim. I was gonna say she's a Candace Owen, but no, she's a victim. Like she's a victim to a system. Just because I was gonna be like, she's a hateful bitch. But no, I think she is a victim. Like, it's just the idea that, like, I bet you, I'll put money on it, right? Use this clip in 15 years. You'll run into her into 15 years and she's going to be like, girl, I don't know that man. I don't know him. Sorry, I don't know that man. That's weird.
I don't know that man.
I don't know that man, but how are you doing, girl? You look great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's going to be, I've had that situation where I've hated girls because of that stuff, and then I see them and I'm like, oh my God, why was I so mean to you? No, you're the shit. Like, fuck that dude, you know?
Right.
And you were right. It's probably the gaslighting.
It for sure. He's definitely trying to like shift this story into like, oh, she was flirting with me, trying to get at me, and I kept trying to reject her.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Trying to make you look like the bad. And also like, yeah, like she sees you as a threat, you know? Like, and also we always know like who our like man is attracted to. So, and there are those girls, unfortunately, that will like, oh, that's a girl like my guy would totally like, and just be like, hate them for no reason and feel jealous. Like, I would come across girls like that.
Oh, for sure.
And they'd be like, oh, yeah, like, I don't like her because, but it's only because you just are insecure that your man is gonna like this person.
I had a guy friend once. Actually, it was one of the 8 dudes that I lived with where his girl, he didn't even date this chick. She just hated me because apparently he had said, oh, if I could date any of, because she asked. Right. She was like, if you could date any of your female friends, who would you? And he was like, oh, Rose. But she asked him.
Right.
So it's like not my fault that was his answer. And also like, ew, no, I wouldn't have dated him. Like he was my guy friend. Like I respect that boundary. But I never knew why she hated me. And she would come into our like house and she would sit on the couch and she would just stare at me. And I was like, I don't know why she hates me.
Yeah, no.
And I had a boyfriend at the time too. So it was like really weird. I don't know. But yes.
Yeah, I've had girls too who just hate me for no reason. Even
the insecurities.
Right. Like it's like, oh, yeah, like so-and-so's girlfriend is hate. I'm like, I don't ever even talk to her.
Wait, what's her name?
Right. I'm like, who is this? But, it's just people, women. I mean, not women.
I mean, it's also a really good story, especially the fact that he ended up with an older woman, which is, I'm like,
that's random.
Yeah, that's random. But I'm also like the older woman. I'm kind of like, get yours, girl. Like, get out your, cheat on your husband, which I think is like terrible. But like, also like your karma. Did you end up with the man you deserve? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe shitty people attract shitty people. Like that's interesting.
That's true. That's an outlook right there.
And now he's batteries included. He's a stepdad.
He's a stepdad. So I mean, she looks like she knows what's going on, and she's like he out here just messy. Yeah. She didn't even need advice. She just wanted to let us know.
Well, I also think it was one of those things that she was saying that he was like her first kiss and like obviously first time fooling around, which I think the episode Quay, I talk about it where I was like, we need to let go of the stigma of the virgin. Like don't hold this like presence.
Did we talk about that? I forget.
Yeah. Just the idea that the whole idea that like women, it's the only thing we have value of, or society has made us feel like it's like, don't give it to the wrong guy. And it's like, but men can just fucking take it from everyone. Like that's so weird. And like men don't get their virginity it's fucking bizarre. But the idea of like what it means to be like a virgin and everything, it's just because I know people who were virgins that their first time was like sexual assault, and they shouldn't have to remember that. It's just the first time that you enjoyed sex. Right. I mean, for me, I always think about the first time that I actually came and was like, oh, this is why people like sex. Oh, wow. You know what I mean? Because there was like a long time that I was like,
I came way before I even like penetrated.
But that's the thing is I knew through masturbation, right? Like I knew how to masturbate, but the fact that I was having sex with someone, because I was having sex with my high school boyfriend, and I was like, well, this is fun, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's like he enjoys it.
Right.
And then the first time that I had an orgasm, I was like,
oh, you're like, this is the real
This
sex.
is why everyone writes songs. Like, I get it now.
This is why we get dickmatized.
This is why we get dickmatized. So then it's like, that's like my like first in a way,
Why does the dog look so scared?
He looks cold.
Right?
I think Rocky is cold because he's naked. You've basically shamed him out of his fur. He's cold.
I gave him a haircut.
He needs his sweater back.
Okay, I'm going to put his sweater on. All right, anyways. Plug yourself.
Okay, this is Rose at Rosetta Stone. Please do not send me your hate mail about your love for Euphoria. It's
always good to get a different perspective. We can't always just hear the same perspective all the time.
Yeah, because I'm also like, I love that people love it. I love it. It's cool.
Right.
I love the music. Right. Labyrinth is fucking, and Zendaya.
There's a lot of amazing things about it. But just because something's amazing doesn't mean they don't have imperfections. That's why I never really idolize anybody.
I'm also very imperfected.
We all are. Yeah. And we're allowed to have opinions.
Yes.
So
that's just mine.
And that's yours. Did you plug yourself?
I did. I said Rose_Etta Stone, but don't DM me your hate speeches.
Right. I really regret eating that Taco Bell.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm gonna like take a fat shit tomorrow for sure. I want it all out. I'm gonna drink a tea that like drains everything.
That's why I don't eat Taco Bell.
Right.
I ate my Shake Shack. It's sitting right nicely in my fupa. I
don't think it's also like guilt too.
Don't feel guilty. Never feel. As someone who deals with the eating disorder, food should never make you feel guilty.
I feel guilty though.
Don't do it. We'll talk about it. It's fine.
Another episode.
You know why? Because you were hungry. I was eating and you were eating, and we were eating together. And it was great.
Okay.
We had dinner together.
We had dinner.
See, don't feel guilty about having dinner.
I love that. It was a bonding moment. It was for the vibes.
Rocky's really cold.
Yeah. All right. Follow me, Stefanie Maegan, or go to brokegirl.com.
Buy merch.
All that shit is there. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Broke Girl Therapy. 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 Broke girl therapy.